This is News at Prime. Let's bring you this story now. Dr. Nasiphi Same, a researcher at the University of Johannesburg's Centre for Social Development in Africa, says rising poverty levels are making it increasingly difficult for South Africans to survive on social grants. This follows the release of the latest General Household Survey by Statistics South Africa, which shows that 40.1% of the population rely on grants to make ends meet. She adds that the social relief of distress grant has provided some relief, particularly for unemployed youth.
The quality of life in South Africa has certainly gone down. In fact, we are now seeing that the reliance or the social grants, many families are depending on that. It's not the same as it was about 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. It hasn't completely filled the gap, but it has helped in terms of trying to alleviate poverty, because previously what the social protection system of South Africa did, it catered for the children, it catered for the elderly persons, and it also catered for people living with disabilities. But what about the middle? What about the youth that is not in employment, not in education, or not in training? So the social relief of distress grant at least tried to fill in that gap, but it's not the entire solution.
The arrest of a 50-year-old man in the Cape Town suburb of Brackenfell has left residents and nearby communities reeling. The man faces charges of sexual exploitation, grooming, and facilitating the creation of child pornography. The Free State Provincial Serious and Violent Crimes Unit traced the suspect to the Western Cape following an investigation into cyber sexual offences against minors. Here's Newzroom Afrika reporter Nasiphi Same, who filed this report.
The quiet suburb of Brackenfell turned into a scene of a serious crime operation this week after the Free State Serious and Violent Crimes Unit arrested a 50-year-old man for a series of cyber-related sexual offences involving minors. The man, whose identity has yet to be released, was traced to Cape Town after an investigation launched in February this year. Authorities say he allegedly lured and exploited two teenage boys, aged 15 and 16, from De Wetsdorp in the Free State.
The arrest follows a complaint lodged in February 2025 by a clinical psychologist at a school in De Wetsdorp. It was alleged that the suspect exploited two boys aged 15 and 16 by luring them with false promises of gifts in exchange for sexual explicit videos and images. The suspect faces multiple charges, including sexual exploitation, grooming, and facilitating the creation of child pornography. During the arrest, electronic devices were seized, and preliminary analysis has identified other potential victims aged between 14 and 16. Further charges may follow.
The accused were transferred to the Free State, where he is scheduled to appear in the De Wetsdorp Magistrate Court on Monday, the 2nd of June.
The arrest has sent shockwaves through surrounding Cape Town communities, sparking fear and outrage among residents.
It means our children are not safe, and you can't trust your neighbor, you can't trust anyone actually with your children. And what is happening? That's my question. What is happening in our country? If it's moving so close to home, it's hitting home here. So we as mothers and fathers, we as parents, grandparents should be more alert, and it's not supposed to be like that. Because we got freedom, and our children needs their freedom.
Organizations have welcomed the police's swift action, but warn it's becoming a growing trend, particularly in the Western Cape.
I think it's absolute vultures that are preying on our young children, brainwashing them, and they are making money off from these things. And just one thing to remember is that once these pictures go onto the internet, it's very difficult to take it off. So the long-term effects can be detrimental. I think that we can make a difference, and it doesn't just constitute the police. it comes from religious organizations, it comes from community.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Nasiphi Same in Cape Town.